issue I have right now after I finished my degree is that I feel numb when I think of, future studies or career or something like that. And I like the value people give to things like that. I just can't connect or relate to it. And I even recently I read an article someone had released about how, what is your purpose on this planet. Is it to follow what society has given prominence to, or is it to actually do what you were born to do? But my issue is, do I follow that path, or how do I discover what I was born to do? That's a constant battle in my mind. And even to pick a master's program, or even to do an internship or think of work, I'm like, what is it? Is it worth it? Where does it get me? And also it's about, after I study, I start working, and working means you think of earning money, and then you buy materialistic things with it. And where does that get you? Is there a purpose in that? Why? I just want to know how I can resolve this battle that I have in my mind right now. Thank you.
So the first thing is, the question is very valid. Okay. First thing is, the question is very, very valid. And the fact that you decided to ask this question is a great decision. Possibly one of the best decisions you ever made this year is to ask that question from the right person, at the right place, at the right time, because this answer that you will hear will begin to change the course of your life in the coming year. That is what you want anyway, isn't it? So the first thing is, there is a question. The question arose from the sense of self that I am, isn't it? I am. I am there. So there wouldn't have been a question to ask if there wasn't any sense of self. Okay? So we are happy that you are alive to ask the question. You have a life. You have a life force. You have a sense of self. And that sense of self seems to be looking for meaning in life, isn't it? Yes, and it has always been looking for a meaning anyways. However, now you are in a stage that this question seems to be very, very important. It's almost like you told me very clearly, I feel numb. I mean, I eat, I do all the work, I do my duties, I attend to my social responsibilities, whatever others are expecting, I honor it, right? I'm there where I'm supposed to be, even this moment. But the true feeling I have inside of me is I feel numb. Now, we must ask, like, feeling numb about what? What am I feeling? What am I feeling numb about or numb towards? Is it my physical body? Is it my idea about my sense of self? Is it my idea about my idea about my previous sense of self? Or is it the idea about what I'm becoming, or possibly will become if I continue the same course of actions, continue the same way of living? Or am I becoming numb towards overall this thing called life? Like what I see, what I hear, what I taste and smell, and I'm experiencing this thing called life myself, which I feel like me, which is within me, and there is this sense of self of what is outside of me, and there's an interaction. I don't seem to be fully enjoying or feeling right about it. I'm like just getting things done, yeah, but I don't feel very happy about it. Something's not right fundamentally within me, or possibly could be something not right with the outside. I'm not sure about this, isn't it? So this kind of confused mindset now you have. We understand the question came because I'm alive and I have a sense of self. I am conscious. I am conscious. If I was never conscious, then this question wouldn't have even arisen, right? I'm alive. Okay, yes, right, yeah. So sense of self is a combination of my body. Like I can feel that I'm living in a body, like a physical body, right? And then I'm certainly having this mind, whatever I call as my mind, and that seems to be really out of balance. That is not very happy, isn't it? The body carries on doing the work somehow, because it is trained. It's like a machine. It wakes up, it eats, it drinks, it have a shower, it walks, right? It talks, it attends to certain things, it sings, it dresses up, it sleeps, it goes to the toilet. Okay, it's operating fine. I mean, really, if you look at that part of my sense of self, it's really okay. It's working. Some days maybe the physical body may be not that the same energy as I think it is. Again, I think it is. So that means the problem is really where? In my mind. So I have my life force energy. I am alive. That's why the question is there. If I was a dead person or like a zombie or in a dream, like completely dreaming in a sleep and a deep sleep, I don't even have my sense of self, or maybe I'm anesthetized, so I don't feel anything. No, nothing like that. I'm fully alive. My senses are fully working, and I have a very good idea about my body functioning properly. It's fine. It's working like a machine, morning to evening, next day morning to evening, next day morning to evening. Okay, then why am I struggling? Why am I feeling numb? Where do I really feel numb? Because I walk, I talk, I eat. No, this numbness is actually in my mind. So maybe at certain times of my day, the numbness of my mind is so intense, it possibly maybe even making me not activate my body. That level, like my mouth might not even open to express how I'm feeling. My legs are almost like numb. No, I don't want to go. I really can't go. I can't eat, Amma, Sometimes, certain times of the day, especially waking up, should I wake up, right? So maybe this numbness could work certain times of the day or your life these days to a level that it possibly even deactivating your so-called bodily actions. Say for an example, certain actions and deeds that you performed in the past, maybe you are not even doing. If you carefully look, if you carefully investigate and even make an entry of certain actions, certain activities, you are not even doing it at all. I mean, you can't function, you can't perform. It's not going there. That numbness would have come to that level. Now we have to investigate. So we are where we are alive, there's a body, there's a mind. So three variables fundamentally that I call my sense of self seems to be what? Out of sync. Now when something in nature, in which I am also part of, I am nature, all of it is nature. Anything when it goes out of sync, out of balance, the nature of existence is that it automatically is working towards a new order. a balance. The very word disorder out of balance, disorder out of balance, means even in that word, cryptically if you look at, the word order is there, the word balance is there, it's just few letters have been added to give a different meaning. So you got to understand, when you were born as a baby, you didn't know a hell of a thing on this planet of Earth. You did not know if you even existed, but yes, you at least knew. Suddenly you came into an alien ground and like you don't even know who you are, but surely you knew you existed. You knew you were alive. That part you knew as a baby. That part knew it so very well. From nothing, this little baby figured out everything up until this moment, this age. Whatever the number of figure you put your age, 25, 26, 24, whatever, right? This baby from nothing, from almost like a zero place, worked things out. The baby didn't know a world, baby didn't know a mother, baby didn't know a father, baby didn't know the self, nothing. It was an utter chaos. Completely, you are in a no man's land, because for the baby, certainly it was no man's land, because baby never knew men's, like men or women, right? Maximum when taken out from a dark cubicle, screamed because of the pressure, the shocks, the shaking, whoever the other beings were around, that they were around, right, they were doing to the body. And that was torturing. Can you even imagine, could you even imagine that kind of chaos that I have once gone through in my life? Stuck in a dark cubicle, knowing I am stuck. All around, if at all, is some liquid and stinking liquid. Fortunately, the unborn baby doesn't know whether it's stinking or not. So in total acceptance of, because that's the condition. That's the condition. And everywhere is what? Only darkness and some water and restriction. Restriction. But this life, one life, me, the sense of self, was still there. Not knowing where the hell I am. Nothing. At least to figure out where. But for some reason, I, that life, me, my sense of self, was born there, was being created there. I have decided to be stuck in that kind of dense, dark, filthy, unpredictable, absolutely not knowing a thing kind of place. I have chosen. The same I that asking this question was once there. But those conditions were what? Can you even like fathom and come into terms with the kind of conditions once we were stuck? And having absolutely no capacity to have any control over what's happening. However, that I, the same I, made a decision. No Manisha that time. Absolutely an alien, right? It's not even there. But I was there. In that kind of mess and chaos and darkness, unpredictable, absolutely have no control over where I am, my sense of self. and I still made my way out. Possibly that little cubicle that once you were in, not knowing a thing but always having the sense of self, had enough of earthquakes, as in when that cubicle shake, the holder of that cubicle shake, her body, right? You had all the shock treatments coming. When that cubicle holder was crying, all that pain and ache I had to go through, this sense of self had to go through. When that holder of that little dark cubicle was drinking warm stuff because she really wanted to feel comfortable, inside I hated it, I didn't like, but I had to consume that heat. And the holder of the cubicle once was very fond of drinking something very cold. At that time I was thinking I'd rather be warm. I was suddenly frozen. And certain times the holder of that dark cubicle where I was in was sick. And the conditions inside became extremely uncomfortable. Possibly to a level that I, that time, would have even felt that this is not the right place. It's hard for me to be here. I feel I'm numb. Maybe you had, in your case, inside that little cubicle, maybe you had another friend trying to share space, trying like another, just like you are now recognizing me and see me, you see me, and I'm there because of you, you are there because of me, and like that. Maybe even at that time you had a friend, you had like a partner, you had an associate, another sense of self. So you worked it out, but maybe the other party, other sense of self, couldn't work it out. That sense of self went into a numb state where it lost the game. It lost the body. It lost the whole desire to and the capacity to hold on to this cubicle. It decided to go away because it did not know how to deal with that chaos, that clutter, that adversity, that difficulty. And that part, that other sense of self would have felt like, it's not my time. I can't. But you worked it out. If you someday, which you can, knowing this is my mind and all these memories are there in my mind, knowing that, on that principle, develop the capacity to trace all the way back. You will know the kind of adversities and the chaos and the disruptions that you had to go through at that time were much, much more what? Dangerous, difficult, and your capacities were absolutely nothing. You didn't have this capacity of asking questions, meeting a teacher, and then verifying what should I do, what's my way of action to the future. I seems to be in a dark cell. Will there be light on the other side? Will I be safe? What's my way? None of those capabilities were there, but you still made it. Do you get that? Do you understand that very well? So now, if you were a part of, at that time, you were part of nature, the holder of your cubicle, dark cell, dark cubicle, even that person or the being or the sense of self was also part of nature, like nature inside nature. That's it. There was always, and if you look at that beholder of that cubicle, That cubicle possibly was in the kind of mindset you were in now, right? Still, that nature, that sense of self, which is part of nature, also worked out her or his sense of self to a balance. It was also going through a massive amount of chaos, adversity, uncertainty. Even that self, that sense of self, did not know what it means to have a cubicle inside and another sense of self is building up. That's alien even to that sense of self. It doesn't even know what's happening to my body. It's like all vomitish from morning to evening, and then feeling like I'm losing my sense of self, and then suddenly I have all these difficult sensations in my body, right? And then trying to make sense out of what's happening in her life, just like what you are going through. So the holder of that cubicle, that dark cell, was also going through what? Chaos, and possibly loads of numbness. The question arose from that very key word, numbness. So seems like your mind have somewhat familiarity with that word for the longest time. Otherwise you would have given a different word, you would have used a different word. Your consciousness or your vijnana and your mind then, using your brain thereafter, spoke the word out. Opening the mouth, you spoke that feeling out. So this is the truth right now in your consciousness. That's numbness. And the mind is choosing to express using the brain and then opening the mouth and carrying out the whole energy of your body, categorically using that word, numbness. So, do you think it is something that you are alien? No. It is something that you knew for the longest time. And if you trace back, when you were stuck in that dark cubicle, there was a holder of another part of your nature, an extension of your nature. Your nature, so that what is covering you was also nature, Mother Nature. Okay, so that holder was also what? Was very familiar with that feeling and term. So it was something that you felt and perceived and embraced at that very point itself. For what? Now we have to investigate. For what purpose? For what purpose am I doing this? What's the purpose of me feeling this numbness? There's always a purpose in nature. Everything. Because we started off the discussion saying, disorder, very word, has the word order. Out of balance has the very word balance in it. So any place where there is something breaking down, losing its balance, some chaos and out of order, it is a simple sign that it is working towards a balance. That's all. Otherwise, anything in nature cannot sustain, cannot exist. You wouldn't have been there, I wouldn't have been there to have any conversation. There would have only been a big bang and not even to call no man's land. At least in no man's land, there's a land and someone is there to say there was a land. Means there's a man. You get what I'm saying, Pute? Right. So you got to understand this seems to be what? Serving me. This seems to be creating a new equilibrium for myself, my life, my sense of self, for which you already used a very nice word. That was another key word in your question, the purpose. Purpose. So seems like numbness is like almost the other side of the coin and other side is purpose. So for you, because the beholder of your nature, that beholder of that little cell, and the holder, the one who was carrying, had similar patterns, seems like your way of awakening to a new me seems to be happening through this feeling of numbness. So it's the same coin, two sides. One side, purpose, the other side, the numbness. One side, the light, the other side, the darkness. So you seems to be at this point of asking the question. It is just that me, that life, that sense of self, let's say big word consciousness, simple word me. I have the question, I have the numbness, I'm looking for the purpose, where am I? Right now, Putha, right now, your consciousness is identified more with numbness. And I say, I feel numb about what's happening, future, past, what's going on. Because that me is now, for some reason, fully identified with that numbness. Just like when you were an unborn baby and in that dark cell, unpredictable, not having any sense of time, no control whatsoever, right? And then there was another party sharing the space. At least that would have been some fun, although you did not know how to explain it. There was another self, right? And suddenly that person, that sense of self disappeared, and then kind of you are left alone. So only way, and also the beholder of that little cell is mostly in similar kind of emotion and mindset, mostly, you see. And your decision even at that time was to get identified with the numbness, because that is the best way to deal with this mess. When we are numb, are we feeling things? No. And that is a safe place to be, because if I start feeling, I have to make decisions, right? I have to be answerable, I have to work hard. No, I rather remain numb. Then I don't feel, just like a doctor when they want to give you an injection. They what? Make that area numb, right? So then injection had been given, I didn't feel, right? Later on, of course, I might feel the consequences. Of course, you know, you've been given an injection. So it's like, it's just like that, Putha. So we have to now understand the nature of the consciousness, or nature of me, my sense of self, me, is that when it identifies itself with one thing, it denies the other thing. In a given time, this mind can only grasp one thing. Although we feel we are grasping many things in a given time and everything is falling on my head, in a given time, that attention goes into one selected idea, predominant. Like right now, you spoke out that word feeling numb, whereas you are happily doing many other activities. Actually speaking, you are fully engaged. Even coming here, you brought in a very nice pleasant energy, you did your work very well, you helped your mother, you on time, before time. Come on, there's quite a lot going on which is not even falling into this category called numb. So do you understand, Puthe? We are generalizing, and then we are kind of identifying mostly with one idea about myself, and that seems to be the biggest deal of my life. Yeah. So the problem is not the numbness. The problem is I am overly identified with that side of my, or aspect of my sense of self. Why? Now we must ask even that question and clarify that for now and forever. Why? You are familiar with that feeling. You are very, very familiar with that feeling. habitually getting into that so I don't have to make important decisions. If it really hits me hard, at that moment I might make I'll go with the flow. Whatever comes next. No, it's too much for me. I can't deal with this too much of data. I won't handle it. So if it really hits me hard at that moment, because I have to do, just like when you were in that dark cubicle, after whatever the time, which was like infinity for that unborn baby, right? Suddenly you had to make a decision to come out. Not that they decided to take you out, you also had to decide. Whether you are not. And then again you are again in what? First time also no man's land, certainly no man's, because you were also not a man. So others were not men anyway. And then no man's land. So majority, I mean all these human beings or any other living creature coming into no man's land first. Then they create man's land, woman's land, the rest of the whatever that you call as your life. But before that, there wasn't a thing. There wasn't a thing. But I was there. At that time, there wasn't even a body for you to call numb, right? Possibly a 1 cell, 2 cell, and then finally only like, because that I was so strong, not like the other I who shared the space with you. Develop the heart, develop the brain. It decided in all that nothingness, it made everything. Decided to become a pulsing, beating being. And to a level finally, after waiting for the enormous time, which was like infinity in that dark cubicle, with all that patience, finally some light came. But when you meet light, you never knew that was light. That was a strange place because eyes were all closed when you were inside that cubicle, and suddenly there's this all types of strange images, sounds. What did I work myself towards? And light. That's why babies sleep. When they are born, they mostly do what? Sleeping. Because that is what they were used to do. After a while, the torturing is so intense because the beholder of that cell and now the owner who's declaring ownership of you wants to enjoy this little piece of what? Flesh. And they will poke you and somehow make you open eyes because they want to see themselves through your eyes. I am sick and tired. I was in a dark cubicle for the longest time. What is this like? But crying, and then somehow you had to deal with this torturing. You were tortured even before. Now also it's a massive torturing, right? And you were getting used to the torturing. They were putting things in your mouth. It was too much for you. Sometimes it was too less for you. The sounds were like, making you deaf. They were all over you. They were not giving you what when you wanted it. They gave it when they wanted it. They were speaking in some words like you hardly knew what that sound was. All torturing. And then you were getting used to that little, we have a friend. Kitty cat friend is coming. I'll tell you that story later on. Be mindful if you have some fish in the kitchen. If it is covered, that's fine. So he has, I don't know, for some reason he came even few days back. We know he's declaring some ownership around here. So we let him be. only him, because I petted him once. I know what he's trying to communicate. Let him be, that's okay. So, Manisha, you got used to the torturing. Was it something you wanted? No. Thereafter, after some time when you got used to, because now anyway your eyes are getting used to this apparatus called eyes, they all of them, all the system, the whole thing called body, your nature, part of your nature, the most important part of your nature, which is visible, and it's expanding now. It's getting bigger, right? Now you're expanding. Now your capabilities earlier was very high in terms of dealing with the mass. That capabilities now has to be what? Distributed, because you're expanding. Like, you're expanding. Your arms, your legs, your eyes, you really can feel they are growing, getting bigger. So that me, that sense of self me, is now what? Getting bigger. Listen very carefully. That sense of me, once it was absolutely nothing, and then it became something. Now it is getting into more abstract idea about that sense of self, because it's getting a definition. You really can feel like that shape, this form, like it's defining to a level. Now inside also, especially this part that is your brain, inside there's a little piece of nature, a brain, we call it brain. You never knew it was brain. Someone's in the kitchen, kitty cat. So that little piece of brain started sensing and being able to what? Process data. All that simulations that you are getting a definition, like a very good sense of yourself. Now earlier you didn't have that very good sense of self. It's developing, and as you developed your brain and rest of the apparatus, a definition of your sense of self expanding. Every day you can feel it's expanding. You seems to be getting a better control of your sense of self. Earlier you didn't have it, but seems to be getting control of it. And the beholder of your cell and the ones who claim the ownership of you, which is also part of nature, started what? Speaking words to you. You started grasping the first word possibly. It was only a vibration in your ear. And then because there's this inside the brain, there is this little piece of flesh which is part of nature, which is very unique. It can relate to those sounds, continuous recurring patterns, and then started giving a meaning. Then the sense of self expanded further. It got what? Equipped and armed with another capacity. Being able to think. Using words that were spoken. So the sense of self is now what? Seems to be expanding, earlier from absolutely nothing, and then only just some sensations, like no meaning, and then it's getting defined and more control over my arms, the fingers. I know when to open my eyes, when to close. Even the people who claim ownership of me was doing many things. Now I close my mouth when I want to, right? And I'm getting control over my feet. I'm able to move from one place to the other without any support. I am building up. And then word was spoken. First few words, not very convenient, not used. I've not got used to those words yet. Wobbly. Later on, I developed a very good idea about those words. I did not know a thing. And I started expanding from one word to 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 to quite a number of words. Earlier when I opened my eyes, I don't know if I was even seeing. But seeing was there, but I did not know if I was even seeing. And now I know I am seeing this word, that word, this word, that word. Different types of varieties of words came into my mind. So now I have a body and a mind. And I have me, I always had me. The three variables was there even at that time. From not knowing a thing, I started creating a full life story with loads of varieties of words. And now, not only that, after age 7, now I have an idea about my age as well, and my kind of gender, I have words about myself. And after 7 is the biggest deal. Now, I can make use of words and make my own stories in the head. I'm a movie maker now. I make different movies. From happy movies to angry movies to numb movies to... So if you trace back now to your early days, the early childhood and then thereafter, 7, 8, 9, this feeling of numbness would have been predominant even at that time. Because we were very used to that feeling. It was a common theme. That way you played safe compared to possibly other sense of selves around you. And the beholders of the ones who called ownership of your sense of self, made decisions for you, made it easy for you. Because we have a numb child. So they were becoming, because of your numbness, they were compelled to become extremely sensitive in many ways. They were numb too, but they were compelled to what? Break that and somehow do things, because you're not doing certain things that you're supposed to do because of that numbness, and somehow protecting yourself, sense of self, without breaking through, out of fear. So when we look at a TV, you have all these different channels when you tune in. Different movies comes in. Different movies have different feelings, different types of images. It makes us think different things. Similarly, after accumulating a whole lot of words and that little piece of nature, which is the brain inside of you, is still working its way out from some random words into a whole lot of meaningful movies now. From morning to evening, if you tune in your life, just like the TV channels, we are putting in TV channel, like from morning to evening you have what? Different movies popping up and feeling different ways. However, in a given time, if you have to make like a generalized statements about these movies, my TV station has mostly numb movies. Whereas there were cartoons, happy cartoons, some romantic cartoons or movies, okay, very active, adventurous, like thriller kind of stuff, but they were like almost not in existence. Suddenly, I have this theme. Okay, my TV station, numb TV station. Who would like to come and watch movies in my numb TV station? And people say, I'm not interested. No. Oh, no. Numb TV station, I won't channel. No, I won't tune into that. Only someone having another TV station, which is mostly numb, will like, I like to tune in. Why? Because I like it too. We share similar patterns. So let's watch it together. That is what you have been doing with the owner of your cubicle, the one who claimed ownership of your sense of self. It's a recurring pattern. So, what do you choose to do today? Because your sense of self can choose. You understood this after listening to me. It makes perfect sense. Oh, it makes sense. I understand. And you have a choice now. You can now begin to what? Becoming identified with the other side of the coin. The light side, the bright side. Just like the baby with all that difficulties got used to light anyway and did so much with those eyes thereafter. That's exactly how nature evolves. Those who doesn't evolve, those who cannot evolve, those minds and the bodies and sense of selves who cannot evolve, get what? They die. Simply they die. They first become numb and they die. They can't exist because they don't understand other side of the coin is the brighter side, is the possibility. If this side is the impossibility, when you remove the it's possibility. That's exactly how life evolves. Always. In, out. In breath, out breath. In breath, out breath. Darkness, light. Morning, evening. Inside, outside. Male, female. Wanting, not wanting. Liking, disliking. Everything is just what? Duality. I, the sense of self, me, has complete control to make a decision about which side of the coin I choose. Why it feels like I cannot choose, I cannot decide, I cannot move forward is because we started off with the three variables, that is my body, my mind and my sense of self. That's my life, like me, right? Which is not the mind, not the body, but there is a bigger me. It doesn't have a shape and a form, but I know I'm there because all start with that. Let's say for an example, mind is there, body is there, there's no life. Like that sense of self is not there, like it won't happen. That is the variable that we identify with the word called vijnana or consciousness. Alright, so consciousness doesn't stand on its own. It needs to do something with it to become known, because it's not seen, not visible, it's not there. Its nature is that it's not there, never was there, but how can it exist? It should exist in some way. That's how the body was created, that's how the thing called mind was created, the word. So, what is difficult for you right now is only that you have not developed the ability to what? Let go of that pattern, common theme, and embrace a new, perhaps a better pattern, still a pattern, still a pattern, but a new way of thinking, means new way of organizing your thoughts regularly, a new TV station, a new movie, and certainly you will begin to speak differently about it once you create it. So, it's your time to speak up now. What kind of word do you choose instead of numbness, knowing you have a choice over words? What do you choose now? Positivity. That's right. Yeah. Keep talking more. Strength. Exactly. Right. What's the exact opposite side of the word numb? Exact opposite. Feeling. Exactly. Exact opposite is actually I am not feeling numb. Then we remove the word not and the numb. I am feeling. I'm feeling pretty much anything and everything. If someone doesn't feel, what do we call it? Someone or a being or an animal? When they don't feel, what do we identify them as? What's the word we use to them? Like there is a place in our life, there is a moment in our lives when that happened, there's absolutely no feeling. That's the safest place to be. But that's the end of the game. What's that? Death. So now you have to choose whether I am going to live my life like a dead or I'm going to play the full out because I'm alive. I'm going to play. I'm alive. Only the dead doesn't have that problem. But now you know it is not end also, because even before you come into that little cubicle, something like that happened. Something like that happened. But you still created another body to experience, so it's not the end either. However, for the rest of the people, of course, you're not feeling, right? It's dead, like a dead person. So, it's safe to be like a dead person. It's very dangerous and very risky, and lot of decision making needed to be fully alive. The word purpose goes only with living ones, not with numb ones, not with dead ones. Dead ones can't serve any purpose. Shalini puta mal ගෙනත් තියෙනවා ගාමුත්. ලස්සන මල් වැටියක් හදලා. ෆ්‍රිජ් එකේ තියෙනවා. Yes. And the other, a little more explanation to be given. Now we have to explore. Very important. You didn't ask, but I'm asking on behalf of you. What kind of person, what kind of a me, what kind of sense of self would knowing I'm alive, knowing I want to live a purposeful life and want to live playful out and live a very different life, knowing all that, why do you think you chose numbness once? Why would any creature would choose numbness? I mean, not to feel or to reduce feeling. Not to feel is dead, but like to reduce feeling, to cut away from feeling, to remain like rigid, guarded, so that no too much of processing. Why do you think one would choose that?
Because dealing with it and processing it gives you so much more turmoil and pain.
Correct. Exactly. Now, let's go a little further, deeper. Can there be situations where there are beings, there are people, there are individuals, or sense of selves, there are me's, all me's, right? That there are like lot of so-called sensations, stimulations, data, a whole lot happening around them, because they have a body. Their body has like 5 senses, and there's a brain. It is anyway picking up whole lot of data. Can there be situations where there are people who have like from morning to evening there's this bombarding amount of data coming into the system from the 5 senses and the 6, the brain, that is also a center. Could there be people who are like okay with it? There's a lot of information, and for some reason they don't feel that turmoil. They're okay. They take in data, they process, they speak, act, take decisions, move on with life. You have seen certainly enough of those people, isn't it? Yeah, sometimes the number of variables that you think you are dealing with in your life compared to such people possibly could be even less. The kind of variables I'm saying overarching variables, okay? Like in a given time, every human being specially exposed to more than 2 million bits of data. That's what the scientists say. However, I'm saying the chunks, like say overarching kind of variables, like say very, like someone like you from a middle class family or lower middle, upper middle, whatever, and everything is kind of taken care of for you by your parents. Even the house, if you look at, not a huge garden to maintain, not a huge amount of stuff to do, but there are people who are on the roads. Some people are like not having parents, they don't have money, sometimes they even sick. Maybe their physical conditions are like, you know, not the best. They're living in jungle or a very poor village. There's not food to eat, and like some other social variables. You get what I'm saying? So there are people with all that. Like if you look at overarching amount of information or variables that if you think you have to deal in your life, compared to them could be less, very less. Still, you brain finding it like this is too much for me to handle, right? Hence I will choose the old pattern of feeling numb, then I am safe. Contrast, there are beings, there are individuals who have so much of variables to deal from morning to evening, and they are making good progress. They are happy, they are fine, they are taking decisions, they are making things happen. They live purposeful life from morning to evening. Yes or no? Yes. So what do you think that you are possibly missing out? What do you think it is? It is your fear of feeling uncomfortable in dealing with information and data. It's a fear of getting out of your comfort zone and embracing the new me. You can only delay that process, you see, because what is bound to happen will happen. You remember even in your past what kind of girl you were, right? And you still made those decisions that you once thought is absolutely impossible for you to make. When you were pushed to that corner, you had to make that decision. We are just asking you whether you want to continue that pattern anymore. No. Every day, bit by bit, anyway, this nature is going to take over. Your nature. And this thing called purpose that you sense is there is calling you. It's that beckoning light from the far. That inner voice. It's there. It's calling you every time. And as you very correctly said, if you were born to do something, it has to be done. You came into this life, into this kind of reality, it's because previously it was not done. So that I or me is still what? Seeking and wanting to express, explore fearlessly, breaking the old patterns, and somehow it's not going to give up. Even if you give up, it won't give up on you. We have to choose whether we're going to what? Ride the roller coaster with eyes closed or screaming and taking it like, come on, give it to me, because I've gone through enough adversities, which actually every moment in my life I did not know a thing. I like to convince myself I knew. I like to live in that little bubble, hypnotizing myself morning to evening, like I kind of knew, you see, I know. Truth is that I never knew. Even right now you don't know. Will I know? No. We just, difference between you and I possibly is that from those three variables, we have pretty much full control over that middle one, my mind. And we don't give any seriousness to that mind content, because we know it was only accumulation of words from that no man's time to this. So we are not taking any of those words serious, means I don't take any of my mind content or thoughts seriously. Not at all. It was not real even at that time, and I thought it was real. I got identified with it continuously. It was never real. Even the other side of the coin, like say happiness and light and joy, even that was not real. But once in a while I got used to it. However, my mind's familiarity was with the dark side or the difficult side, the impossibility side. That's all. So what's the message? I am not in control of my own mind content because I believe it. So you don't have to believe the mind, you don't have to believe the numbness, no purpose. Because purpose is only what? Revealed through your own way of being. Through your own way of being. I didn't say speaking or acting, or I didn't say doing. Your way of being. So it's a matter of I now just speak the word. I'm living my purpose. Where? Right now, right here. Yes or no? If it is very yes, say loudly yes.
Yes.
Yes. It is only we realize the purpose of life by the way of being. Of course, for that I have words to express, because I have accumulated a whole lot of varieties of words now. My box is full now, right? Yeah, it feels nice. Some poetry, some music, some dance, some way I'll express through my body, like what I am doing here, dhamma discourses. That's all I know. That's why I kept on telling you guys, like there's no other thing that we know now. This is the only thing we are left to do. That's what life chose for me, and the purpose. Purpose chose me. I chose the purpose. See, and only by the way of being, I can be an expression of my purpose. An expression of my purpose. Do I know what's unfolding for me tomorrow? No. I see a future. I do have images which are again mind content. Do I believe it? No. I have very solid, clear idea how things will unfold. Do I believe it? No. They are ideas, images, words. Like I at least have this handkerchief now. I rather hold on to this and my cup of water. That's it. But certainly not those. Why? I know those images and ideas I'm getting about this so-called future is only what? Projection of the kind of interest I have had in the past about how my way of being should be. It's only a projection. So this mind can what? Create movies every moment. So about future also some movie. So I know. Do I care about it now? Absolutely no. Because it's absolutely not real. If there's anything real right now, right here, there's some truth. And that big picture of future, so-called purposeful expression, is happening right now, right here in front of me. I'm talking about my purpose. Right now, right here. It's happening in the grander scale. That I'm enlightening human beings who think they are not enlightened, but they are always enlightened. I'm just reminding them that they are enlightened. That's my business. That's happening right now, right here. You understand this now? Any more questions? Any more questions?
Is it true that you need to? Okay, I know a lot of people have goals and targets in life, and because you spoke about the future, that's what. But in my case, I feel like I want to do so many things, and that kind of, it makes it a little hard for me to pick one thing and focus on that. And yes, that's
What's the
another.
question then? So,
My question is, when you set a goal,
right.
like, why must we set a goal? And if you want to do so many little things and you have so many interests, how do you focus on one thing?
Good. So, first you understand this little interest matters a lot. I repeat to you, second time. This little interest matters a lot. I repeat to you, only 3 times. Done, you have to hear it, you have to get it. These little things of interest matters a lot. I didn't say little, I said a lot. Right now, for you, for your sense of self, and for your being. That's how your being is exploring what suits, what fits. So, if you only give the permission to experience this little interests, only you can find what really clicks you. Everyone in this life, especially people like you, young ones like you, who are actually going through what you're going through, is actually an awakening process, enlightening process. You're trying to make sense out of it. Just like your birth and your conception in the mother's womb, in that cubicle, all of it, you never knew. So what's happening to you is also, even for other people, what is not known is now getting to be known. That's how life expands and evolves. That's exactly how we also evolved. Even to this moment, as I also have my life and my consciousness, my mind, my body, I am also evolving. And do I know? I don't know. I have a sense of idea because of the accumulated amount of thoughts which has energy in it. It has a projection, therefore the mind creates ideas of possibilities. I kind of know, but do I really know? No, because what tomorrow holds, none of us know. To this earth, to this world, to this universe. The truth is that we don't know. So whatever I have now as little interest matters a lot, because we don't know tomorrow. That's why we have to play full out in every idea of those little interesting things in the biggest way. You have to experience them to the fullest. That's the only way. Some evolve. See, we all evolve at different levels. Some from the earliest times, possibly during the conception itself. Like someone like that is the Gautama the Buddha, or all Buddhas. They know where, when, time, mother, father, why I choose, and come into that place, wait until such time, come out, and then declare. Then and there declare, this is the reason I came. Well, that happens only when it comes to Buddha. Only one who actually figure out the things by himself or herself and then declare to the world. Some even don't declare, like Passe Buddhas, they don't declare, they figure it out and they just vanish. Right? So, what do you have to do now? Very simple. There are individuals who would have figured things out by now. Does that matter? No, they think they have figured it out. It's just that. They think, all of us think. So for you, I don't think I have figured it out. And that's exactly your purpose, way of being right now. I haven't figured it out. That's a very good place to be. Because figuring out happens only through your experiences, not being numb, but by playing full out, making all mistakes, being a fool, being an idiot, knowing I failed for the 10th time. That is exactly how you are figuring out, but never by being in the cocoon, because you cannot be in the cocoon. You were meant to be a butterfly. Even if you like it or not, things gonna get hard if you resist. So what's our strategy for the people who are getting enlightened this time of the year? Age is irrelevant, because you have done your work previous lives. Time has come. Even if someone hear this, although this discourse was for you, even if someone hear this, if those words really resonate, that means time has come. It's just that, because your hard work is paying off. You hear that? You hear that? Just play out. You don't know. Tomorrow, I really don't know. And that's exactly how my sense of self, how my beingness, how I am being. And that's the purpose. When I get established, just like that little baby never knew her legs or whatever, like none of it. But naturally there was this urge to walk on the feet. Wobbled, fell many times, others laughed, although I didn't know others were laughing. Actually they laughed at you. They like ridiculed you. Maybe even the way you walked or whatever. Many times, if you can remember. Fortunately we don't remember, see? That's what. This whole system knows how to take care of it, because all the torturing, all the bad things have happened before age 7, and most of the children don't remember before age 3. Very rare ones who are like really very powerful, sort of like a sense of being and have developed those capacities, remember all of it. That's why they suddenly start taking a step back from those people who would have done those nasty things. Look, you can't do any more damage to me. Stay away. They didn't intentionally do that, but that's what happened. So the intelligent one remove themselves from such situations, go in seclusion, go in finding self. That's what you also did in a way a few years ago. You knew if you stay in the system, you're going to destroy yourself and everyone else. You knew.
You took the decision.
You did. You did.
Stayed here.
You knew.
Even
You knew.
so scared.
It was scary, most scariest decision.
You took the step, and from it, what growth happened?
Because inside, you remember all that. You remember all that, and if that pattern continues, I cannot be awakened, I cannot be enlightened, I cannot be the full version of myself who I've come to be. Is that? So that's exactly what's happening now. So do you have to have goals right now? You don't have to, because you can't. Because you don't have. Question is invalid because you don't have goals. So can I give goals? No. Because you're going through that stage of like the wobbly, getting a sense of your next version of exploring life. That's it. When you establish, you played football, you played all types of games using your feet, just like that. In this enlightenment process, in the awakening process, you come to a stability where you know what to do. You really know what to do. That time, there's no question of setting goals. You know the goal. You are the goal. Life itself is the goal. Simply, it's like you cannot go to the grade 5 when you are still in the kindergarten. But you certainly know there's something called grade 5. Then when you come to grade, you have to do all your work that you're supposed to do in the kindergarten very well if you really want to go to grade 5. You get what I'm saying? But you really don't know what they are teaching and what kind of experience it means to be in the grade 5. But you want to be in grade 5. That's why you put all the effort to play the full out in kindergarten and get the best grades, whatever, and then somehow proceed to grade 1, grade 2, it's still giving up. You really know. That knowingness is enough. That knowingness is enough. So, no abstract goals needed. You explore. Okay? Alright, good. So, close your eyes for a few minutes. Keep your back straight, shoulders relaxed. Keep your palm in a meditative pose. Both of you can do this. That's right. Take a couple of long, deep breaths. Long, conscious, deep breathing. Breathing in, I'm breathing in all positives and possibilities. Breathing out, I am releasing the unwanted energy. I'm breathing out all unwanted things. Breathing in the possibilities. Breathing out what is not needed anymore. Breathing in the possibilities. Breathing out all that is no longer serving me. Now you let go of the need to consciously breathe. You notice the natural breath. You notice it's naturally happening, the in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath. In-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath. You just notice it. Now beginning to notice at the tip of your nose. You do your best to notice the breath at the tip of your nose or somewhere in the nose. Recognize the breath. As you recognize the inhaling, you think inhale. As you recognize the exhale, you think exhale. If you notice the in-breath is long, you think long, longer, longer. Likewise, you notice the in-breath is long. If so, you think in-breath long, long, long. If you notice the out-breath is long, you think out-breath long, long, long. Similarly, if you notice the in-breath is short, you think in-breath short or short. Out-breath short. Recognize the breath, then think accordingly. And if you notice your in-breath is like tranquil and it's kind of fully settled, you can't distinguish in-breath, out-breath. It's very thin difference between the two, almost not feeling the breath kind of feeling. At least for a fraction of a second, if you recognize something like that, just keep on thinking, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. Keep simply thinking, I'm home now. If it is long, short, it's okay. Just quickly go to that place where you are like almost, the breath is not there, like it's settled, it's tranquil, it's subsided. You keep thinking, I'm home, I'm home. Continuously think, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. If you notice the breath long and short, no problem. Then recognize long, short likewise. Again, somehow come to that place where like you almost don't feel the breath and you continuously think, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home. Work the loop out. Put the effort. Few more minutes. Keep putting more effort. Remain still. Now deeply relax into that idea. I'm home. I'm exactly where I should be right now, right here. I am where I am. And I'm totally at home with where I am. Every moment. I have always been home. I just wandered out and felt I was away. I know the difference. I am home. I am home. With every breath, I'm home. I have arrived. I'm where I have always been. I have arrived. And I'm free to be at my home, in myself, in my breath. I surrender. And I will remember to surrender. I will remember this mindset. I will remember to relive this again and again until it becomes my predominant way of being. Now I know what it feels like. And I will remember to remember this way of being until it becomes my natural way of being. I remember who I am. I am home. With that feeling, that sense of being, come back to now and open your eyes. May the triple gem bless you. හැම දිනාටම සම්මා සම්බුදු සරණයි.